Really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like everybody they tiptoe around with this social media, but what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequence.
Imagine standing in a courthouse hallway, the fluorescent lights buzzing above your head, while two men who never wanted to meet face to face finally lock eyes. That moment alone was enough to make the tension almost unbearable, but no one watching could have predicted it would all be captured on a security camera that would eventually leak out and explode across every social media platform within hours. This isn't just another celebrity feud. This is the collision of pride, heartbreak, and unresolved jealousy that's been brewing for months, and it finally reached a point where there was no way to keep it private anymore. It almost didn't matter how it started. Some people would say Aaron Pierre knew exactly what he was getting into when he stepped into Teyana Taylor's life. They'd whisper that he wanted the spotlight, the access, the validation of being tied to a woman with her own legacy. But others would argue he genuinely loved her and just got swept up in all the chaos that comes from dating someone who already had so much history with someone else. The truth, as always, lives somewhere in between, in that murky space where feelings get mixed up with ego and nobody is thinking clearly anymore. From the beginning, Aaron and Iman were never going to get along. Even before Teyana and Aaron officially went public, there were little signs of trouble. People who were close to Iman said he always felt like Aaron was trying to step into his shoes as a father figure to Teyana's daughter. Even if Aaron didn't mean to, there was no way to erase the fact that a child was involved, and it made everything more sensitive. Aaron, on the other hand, reportedly believed he was just being supportive. But it's a very fine line between helping and overstepping, and that line kept blurring every time a new headline came out about their complicated arrangement. As weeks turned into months, you could almost see the frustration simmering just under the surface. Aaron was posting cryptic messages about loyalty and trust, while Iman shared subtle jabs about real fathers stepping up no matter what. And every time Teyana tried to shield her daughter from the drama, something else would leak. By the time the custody hearing was scheduled, everyone could tell this wasn't going to be a quiet, dignified process. There was too much bad blood, too many unspoken accusations waiting to spill over. The day of the hearing, the courthouse was crawling with photographers and bloggers hoping to catch even a glimpse of what was about to unfold. Teyana arrived first, wearing oversized sunglasses and an expression that said she'd rather be anywhere else. She moved quickly past the cameras, clutching her lawyer's arm like it was the only thing keeping her upright. She didn't say a word, but her eyes darted nervously toward the entrance every few seconds, like she was bracing for the moment both men would show up. When Aaron finally walked in, he looked calm, almost cold. He didn't acknowledge the reporters shouting his name. He just kept his head high and walked straight past them, as if pretending none of it was real would somehow make it easier to stomach. Some people said he was rehearsing what he would say in front of the judge, but others swore he was rehearsing how he'd keep his temper in check if Iman tried to provoke him. But nothing compared to the moment Iman walked through those doors. The energy shifted immediately, the air practically crackling with tension. His jaw was tight, his eyes locked straight ahead, and even though he didn't look at Aaron, everyone could feel the weight of everything unsaid pressing down on the hallway. For a brief second, they were standing just a few feet apart, and no one breathed. It felt like everyone there knew something irreversible was about to happen. That's the part no one could have predicted would end up on a grainy security video that somehow leaked less than 24 hours later. In that clip, you can see Iman pausing as he walks past Aaron. He doesn't say anything at first, but his expression says everything. Aaron shifts his weight, crosses his arms, and says something too low for the camera to pick up. Whatever it was, it made Iman stop cold. He turned back, took a step closer, and you can actually see Teyana's lawyer put out a hand as if to hold him back. There's no audio on the video, but it doesn't take a lip reader to guess that the words being exchanged weren't polite. The clip shows Iman leaning in, his face inches from Aaron's, and Aaron shaking his head slowly before pointing toward the courtroom door. It only lasts about 10 seconds, but you can feel how close it came to exploding into something physical. A court security guard steps in between them, gently guiding Iman away. Aaron stands there for another moment, staring straight ahead, before finally following the guard down the hall. The video ends, but for everyone who's seen it, the image is burned into their minds. Two men circling each other like rivals in an arena, not just fighting over a woman, but over the idea of who had the right to call themselves family. Inside the courtroom, it didn't get much calmer. According to multiple witnesses, Iman wasted no time telling the judge that Aaron had been inserting himself into parenting decisions that had nothing to do with him. He said Aaron had been trying to erase his role in his daughter's life, and that the constant presence was creating confusion for the child. Aaron countered that he had only ever tried to support Tayana, and that he was being unfairly vilified for caring. It was a mess of conflicting testimonies, all layered with so much emotion that the judge had to stop proceedings twice to remind everyone that the goal was to protect the child, not to score points against each other. Tayana sat between her attorneys, her face pale and tight. At one point, she closed her eyes and pressed her palms together, like she was praying the whole thing would be over soon. The most heartbreaking part came when Tayana's lawyer read out a statement allegedly written by her daughter's counselor. It said the child had started asking why everyone was so angry, why there were always so many arguments about who she could talk to, why she had to be careful about what she said in front of certain people. The counselor's words were gentle, but the meaning cut through the courtroom like a knife. The fighting was already leaving scars that wouldn't be easy to heal. After that, it was almost impossible to pretend this was just about ego. Even the judge looked weary as he listened to both men defend their positions. It wasn't about who loved Tayana more, or who had the better intentions. It was about a little girl caught in a tug-of-war that should never have existed in the first place. When the hearing finally adjourned, everyone filed out in silence. No one seemed to know what to say, but the quiet didn't last long. Within hours, that security footage had made its way online. No one knows exactly how it happened. Some people think a courthouse employee sold it to the blogs for a payday. Others suspect someone connected to one of the parties leaked it to sway public opinion. Either way, the damage was done. The video went viral almost instantly. People were reposting it with captions like, "This is why you don't date your ex's replacement," or "Two grown men fighting over who gets to play dad." Some viewers took sides immediately, praising Iman for standing his ground or defending Aaron for trying to support Tayana. But most people were just stunned at how raw and unfiltered it all was. The court was furious. Officials released a statement promising an investigation into how the footage got out. Lawyers on both sides condemned the leak, but privately, sources said everyone was worried about how it might influence future rulings. If the judge believed either man was using the court as a platform for drama, it could change everything about custody and visitation. Meanwhile, Tayana's reaction was as quiet as it was devastating. She posted a single black square to her Instagram story, no caption, no explanation. People close to her said she was beyond exhausted, that she told her friends she just wanted peace, that she was tired of everyone assuming she liked the chaos. One insider claimed she whispered to her lawyer before leaving court, "I can't do this anymore." In the days after the footage leaked, the internet was split into factions. Some said Iman had every right to be upset and that Aaron should have respected boundaries from the start. Others argued Aaron had been unfairly targeted for caring about a child he'd come to see as family. And then there were the people who didn't pick a side at all, who just felt sad that it had come to this, that grown adults had turned a private heartbreak into a public war zone. The judge issued a temporary order restricting direct contact between Iman and Aaron while the investigation into the leak continued. It also laid out strict rules about who could be present during child exchanges and forbade any further statements to the press. Lawyers for both men promised to appeal if necessary, but for now, everyone was forced to retreat and regroup. As the dust started to settle, the bigger question remained: how did it all go so wrong? Was this inevitable the moment Aaron stepped into Tayana's life, or was it a series of bad choices that no one had the courage to stop? Maybe it was both. Maybe it was proof that love alone isn't enough to erase old wounds or make everyone get along. For Tayana, the path forward looks uncertain. Insiders say she's considering a formal statement to set the record straight, but worries anything she says will just fuel more gossip. Some fans are begging her to walk away from both men and focus solely on her daughter. Others think she should forgive Aaron and try to rebuild. But only she knows how much pain she can take before she finally says enough. And for everyone watching from the outside, the story is a reminder that fame doesn't protect you from heartbreak. If anything, it magnifies every mistake, every outburst, every weakness until it's almost impossible to tell where the truth ends and the performance begins. As the days turn into weeks and everyone waits to see whether more footage will leak or if the court will hand down a final ruling, there's one thing nobody can deny. No matter how it ends, the scars of this fight will linger for a long time. And maybe the saddest part is that somewhere in all this noise, a little girl is still asking why everyone is so angry and when it will finally stop. So what do you think? Did either man have a right to stand their ground the way they did? Or was this just pride disguised as protection? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one story that's far from over.